Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of our webinar and joining us to learn a little bit more of our doctor education, our EdD program this afternoon in our webinar. My name is Serena Stewart. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions here in the School of Education. Just briefly going over the agenda. In today's webinar, I'll give a brief overview of the School of Education. Then I will pass it over to our faculty presenters who will introduce themselves, give an overview of the EdD program. Then I'll go over admissions requirements and financial aid information to end our presentation. We will save time at the end for your questions. So please utilize the Q&A function in Zoom to ask your questions. We do have quite a bit of attendees here today, so please be patient with that Q&A, but definitely post your questions. We will leave plenty of time to answer. Here in the School of Education, we have just under 1,800 students enrolled. Our faculty make up 109 full-time appointments and then 15 joint emeriti or courtesy appointments. We award 920 degrees annually and are very proud to have 24,000 alumni from the School of Education. Our student body is made up of 75% females, 25% males, and 24% are international students coming from about 47 countries. In addition, we are proud to be in the top 10 schools nationwide, number 8 in Best Education News, ranked by the U.S. World and News Report. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to our faculty presenters so that they can introduce themselves and go over the program.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us or for watching this recording later. My name is Dr. Carrie Gilbalt. I also congratulate you on making this decision to pursue your doctorate degree, and we hope that we can provide answers to some of the main questions that you have tonight. A little background about me. So I am an associate professor at Johns Hopkins. I've been here since 2017. I am the program director of the Gifted Education program, and I am serving as the interim director of the Doctor of Education this year. I also have a joint appointment with the Center for Talented Youth as the director of the Study of Exceptional Talent, which is a longitudinal study. And I'm also serving as a co-PI on a grant on professional learning in advanced academics. My research focuses on academic acceleration, leadership development for advanced academic programs, increasing equity and awareness, and also affective development of these students. I am serving as an associate editor of a few journals in our field. And it's one thing that we really enjoy doing here is working with our EdD students who are interested in publications or presentations to really nurture whatever those career goals might be, especially if they're interested in publishing some of their work. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my other colleague in our program, Dr. Juliana Perry-Blegov.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here and have a chance to present some information to you all. I am also an associate faculty member at School of Education and also joined in 2017, coincidentally. And my background is in research practice partnership work for the last 15 years. And prior to that, I worked in neuroscience and education doing functional MRI and MEG studies. In the research practice partnership space most recently, I have a lab that I created in partnership with the School of Medicine at Hopkins and Kennedy Krieger's Center, which works with children who have a range of developmental or health-related needs. That program, that lab, focuses on the experiences of families related to schooling when their child has had pediatric cancer. It was a shock when we began our work to find that parents routinely reported that going back to school was harder than the cancer itself. And it has led to a burgeoning body of work. When we were first publishing, there were very few people who had active publication areas in that space, and it has really ballooned. So now there's multiple international endeavors. I don't work only in that space, however, because I think of myself as somebody who works primarily in this space of intersection between in the in-between space between research and practice. I'll speak more about that when I describe some of the ways that our students' dossiers reflect exactly that in-between space and the skills that are needed to integrate research and practice-based knowledge together. Thanks.
Sorry, my connection is freezing a little bit. I might turn off my video in a second. So I'm going to just give you a brief overview of our vision and mission, and then we will talk a little bit about some of the requirements and courses here. So here at Hopkins, our Doctor of Education program is designed to impact complex educational problems across the globe. So we really are looking at preparing scholar practitioners and helping them to think critically about problems. And we'll talk later about a problem of practice. And these are the issues and challenges that we see within the context of education, the environment, and help our candidates to develop a deep understanding of these insights that will lead to positive change. Our mission is that exceptional education practitioners will engage in an internationally renowned faculty to cultivate their practice, critical discourse, different perspective taking, and a unique and rigorous course of study. Using the lenses of social justice, which you will see is really woven out very carefully throughout all of our courses and all of the work that we do. We also really approach things from a systems thinking model, looking at appropriate methods of empirical inquiry. So this program is, this degree is actually very ideal for those who are experienced practitioners that wish to seek to analyze and be able to critique educational practice and research from the social justice and systems perspective. Those who want to apply relevant methodologies to address critical challenges that they see in their work, in education, or in their related contexts. Those who want to really integrate their research and practice to develop informed decisions and opinions about educational experiences, processes, and institutions. We also prepare students to be able to to develop effective communication for diverse audiences. So that's one of the huge things that my colleague will be sharing with you is how our dossier process might be a little bit different from some of the dissertations that other programs have, where you're able to look at translating this research to practice in a language that makes sense, in a product that makes sense for these contexts. So one of the things that differentiates us a bit from PhD programs is that we are really connecting that research to practice in a very practitioner focused way. Next slide. So at a glance, our program requirements do include a minimum of 90 graduate credits beyond the bachelor's degree. So we do require a master's degree, and some people may have graduated from a master's program that had 30 or 33 credits. So if they are accepted to our program with fewer than 36 credits, they are expected to make up these additional 6 credits before graduation. But it's not a game; it doesn't end the process if you don't have the 36. We will automatically transfer in 36 credits from your master's degree, and if you have maybe pursued an educational specialist degree or a second master's degree, or even a PhD or EdD might have been started someplace else, there's also an opportunity to possibly transfer in an additional 6 credits that are beyond the master's degree for this program. However, a minimum of 48 credits must be completed here at Hopkins. So some of those other credits, if you need to make up 3 or 6 credits for the master's, you can take those at another institution and transfer those in. So the areas of interest that we have for 2025, they have shifted a little bit. So if you looked at our website, last year or even over the summer, you might have seen a couple of different focus areas here. What we have now, so the urban leadership and entrepreneurial leadership in education, those remain the same. We have a newly updated technology program that used to be called DALIT, if you saw that before. Now it is called Learning, Design, and Technology. This area of interest is to equip educational leaders and researchers with advanced knowledge and skills that are necessary to critically engage in this rapidly evolving field of educational technology. As you know, things are changing from day to day, and with artificial intelligence, there are a lot of more opportunities to integrate this, and some of the work that we are doing even in our School of Education, and merging that with education here. So through this area of interest, students are going to be prepared to lead initiatives that leverage technology to enhance learning outcomes, promote equity and inclusivity, and address diverse needs of learners in various educational contexts. Some of the courses coming up in that program include an AI in education, maker education, computational thinking for K-12 educators. The entrepreneurial leadership in education is just kind of has how it sounds. This is a program that really looks at both research and also into practice and creating plans of action, analyzing, synthesizing different case studies, looking at the context of this entrepreneurial and the changing, evolving education landscape. And so with this, we sometimes have people that might come into our program with an MBA, for instance, that are attracted to this. It's a really nice complement to that. Or those that might want to go on and create their own educational programs or schools. And so they're really gaining those skills in how to work in both public and private educational environments. Some of the sample courses in there: entrepreneurship in education, leadership in educational organizations, partnerships in educational organizations, and a talent management course. We also sometimes have those who plan to work in higher ed and a higher ed track that area of interest is uniquely fit for. Our new title, Neurodiversity and Neuroeducation. This will be a new AOI interest for the 2025 group. And what we are doing is we are blending two of our currently existing areas of interest, which is our mind, brain, and teaching, or mind science of learning program, and our creativity, advanced learning, and twice exceptionalities. So within the neurodiversity and neuroeducation, this is really going to draw upon basic and applied research from cognitive science, psychology, brain sciences, neurology, neuroscience, education. We are kind of blending in, tapping into the faculty expertise in gifted education, twice exceptionalities, our mind, brain, and teaching faculty, and our special education faculty. And then the last one, the urban leadership. This is another really popular area of interest. It is designed for educational professionals that are interested in exploring the dual nature of urban schools through this deep understanding of a problem of practice in their professional context. It prepares leaders to work in both urban environments with a focus on such topics like using strength-based approach to learning, understanding complexities of urban communities, and engaging in research on urban educational programs. In just a few of their courses, we have approaches to urban education, power politics and policy in education, and partnerships and community organizing. So those are a few of our main areas of interest that you will be able to select on your application. In terms of our program features, we do offer a very rigorous, relevant, and systemic and social justice perspective in our program. This is a really strong base for everything that we do. Our approach to teaching, to advising and mentoring, and the content that is in all of our courses. We do also allow our students to communicate their research in different modalities. So not just writing APA formatted scholarly writing. You will have other modalities, writing policy briefs, and some people have done different podcasts, and all types of different ways to share this translation of research. We do think that it's really critical. This is a very critical concept because social justice is just one of the big tenets that we have here at the School of Education. If you look at our School of Ed, mission and vision. And so we want to be sure that we are not privileging a particular form of communication with respect to research. So all of our students will have opportunity to communicate in various modalities to better serve the parties that they want to reach in their field. Our program is currently, most students are on a 4-year track. We may be moving to provide an opportunity for a more accelerated program for those who would like to complete it in 3 years. But we really like to have this allow students to really focus on the process in the courses, to really critically think about problems of practice and translating their research. We have online asynchronous instruction is the main methodology. So, we have students all over the world. And so they're not able always to access courses at the exact same time. So the primarily asynchronous format. It helps with that, but then we also do provide synchronous support. So sometimes that might be one-on-one meetings with your instructors or teaching assistants, as well as small group meetings. A lot of the courses are project-based, where you might form a small group and then they can set up some additional meetings as well. And then within, then there are components of our doctoral dossier that we try to really weave throughout a lot of the coursework. It's not in every single course, but there's always something from a course that it will inform your doctoral dossier. Next slide. So in terms of the coursework, we require, we have 5 courses. They're all 3 credit hours. So 5 courses in our foundation of education that everybody takes. And then we have 12 credits of applied research. And we're very excited because we have some brand new research-focused courses that will be rolling out for the cohort that begins in 2025 and beyond. So we will be looking at some opportunities for courses such as program evaluation, a qualitative research course, quantitative research course, and an introduction to research. We also have the opportunity to take up to 5 courses, so 15 credits in what we consider those areas of interest that I just mentioned, or electives. As we are moving forward in the program, students will be able to take classes in more than one area of interest. So for instance, there may be 2 of those that you were really attracted to when I was just giving the brief overview, and you won't be limited to only take all 5 courses in one particular AOI. You can mix and take a few others. We think that a lot of them will really complement each other. And then finally, the doctoral dossier research, which is 12 credit hours. And I'm going to actually turn it over to my colleague to talk a little about that in a little bit more depth.
Thank you so much, Carrie. So I confirmed with Carrie earlier that my job here is less about giving you core nuts and bolts and details. There will be many details for you to absorb as you think about a decision, and once you make the decision and if you are accepted into the program, you'll have detail upon detail. But my job is to give you a broader sense of what's possible and what you may want to be opening yourself up to when you consider a dossier approach for a EdD. So the final and most significant requirement of the EdD is a doctoral dossier. This is a culmination of projects that you complete that have a level of independence, but they are also closely interrelated. The projects are embedded within your coursework and distributed across your entire doctoral program. Students focus on a problem of practice that they select. You may be more familiar with an academic model in which you come into a program for a doctoral work frame and you work on a problem of interest that your faculty member has already established a project in. That can happen, but by far the most common situation is that you have a burning question that you come in with. I also guarantee that that burning question, your initial problem of practice, will change over time. Your problem of practice doesn't have to be specific to the school or institution in which you work. And in that way, you do not have to plan to be at the same academic program, in the same workplace for your entire academic program. The problem of practice that you will work on is something that reflects relationship to a problem of learning, teaching, exploration. It's something that there will already have been research done on, but there are practical-based issues that still exist in that space. We base our doctoral dossier structure on Boyer's 4 scholarship domains. These were originally created for faculty to help them conceptualize and articulate their scholarship efforts in ways that go beyond writing for their peers in the field. But while Boyer used these for faculty, our EdD program finds great value in the framework, and we see how it appropriately helps students engage in applied scholarly inquiry that's relevant to practice and draws appropriately from both research and practice-based expertise. So you can see these different types of scholarship. I'm going to give you some examples that will help you understand what a scholarship of integration versus discovery, teaching, or scholarship might look like. So if you can, thank you. So some past student dossiers. A student of mine was exploring relationship between teacher-student interactions and student self-worth. That was her initial problem was essentially related to ways that she had a very specific interest in terms of how students were not engaging in classwork, and through her explorations wound up focusing on the fact that without effective teacher-student interactions, if a student was at risk, they were unlikely to develop a sense of self-worth as a student. So she developed as her scholarship of application in teaching. They don't necessarily have to be combined, but hers was. She developed an interactive community exhibit of artifacts that were submitted by teachers of items that were given to them by their students, reflecting appreciation. Is it possible for me to use this link and share screen? If you click on that, it should go to a website, if we can share that. Thank you so much. So the website, I leave it to you to investigate it yourself more fully, but we can look at a few things here together. The site is a reflection of both this student's work and her partnership with the Education Foundation in Sarasota. And this organization works to create spaces for the community to engage around art and other efforts. So this was an exhibit that created opportunities both for viewing and for interacting. The student used a particular type of artistic approach called a story box that was intended to help break, I guess, the fourth wall of art and allow for deeper interaction. If you visit the site at edfoundationssrq.org, you will be able to click and find this particular exhibit and see the way that she brought forward specific examples, the way that she embedded them in the context of the research that she was conducting. There are several videos that are included that are reflective of the types of ways that students are affected by their teachers over time. In a democracy, the value of education is central to the health and well-being of the democracy, and that was one of the ways that that was one of the issues that came to light and became also an important motivation for my student, who is listed here. So also, in addition to having this scholarship of teaching as embedded in this in the exhibit, she was also asked to do a podcast to help explain the motivation for it. This was really what I would say an above and beyond dossier, but it also is one that specifically leverages S's practice-based expertise. So she has research-based expertise now as a result of the program, and she has practice-based expertise that includes her work within schools in Sarasota County for more than a decade, but also her relationships within the community. So leveraging both of those things together allowed her to make this dossier what it became. We can go back to the regular slides now. The second one that I want to highlight, you see here the Scholarship of Integration and Discovery. A student did an analysis of the history and the current state of curriculum audits. It also that was the integration. The discovery was an analysis of public engagement in a public school district event that was about engagement. What did the public think was problematic? What did they think was going well? And where did they want the district to focus? One of the things that emerged in that space was that the curriculum was not reflective of the population inside of the school. So as a result, the student developed a very thorough plan with some completed sections of a curriculum audit guide that can be flexibly used by an individual school or district. Can we go to the next slide? She noted in her scholarship of discovery that there were students' experiences of non-representation that helped her to develop the problem of practice within the district in her professional role, separate from her doctoral dossier work, but something that was co-occurring was an internal audit of the ELA curriculum. That fed into, because she noticed the opportunity and the overlap, a needs assessment that she conducted within her community, and that returned information about how the school-based team reacted to the experience of working on that audit. One of the things that happened is that the teachers had a tremendous amount of internal reflection. This wasn't just about what am I bringing in front of my students and how can I bring it well? It was, what does it mean that for the past X years, I've been working with my students and they are feeling very unrepresented in the ELA curriculum? What does it mean about my lens that I either did or didn't notice that, in what ways I did or didn't notice that? She then did an additional literature review. In her case, that was necessary, and she put a draft together of this curriculum audit toolkit. If you can give me the next slide. I mentioned that she created a comprehensive outline and some elements that were very well fleshed out. So this is an overview of that outline of the curriculum audit steps, which would begin here and then move all the way around. In the space that she pulled together sort of a very fleshed out version with the intent of going, for example, to a publisher as a next step, somebody who could fund the further development of that. She focused on the designing and implementing professional learning to conduct the audit. And the reason that she did that was because she understood, based on her needs assessment work, how fundamentally central it was to support the faculty to really engage thoughtfully and reflectively. This is not a check the box space. This is something that gets at the heart of who a teacher is and why they are teaching. So for an ELA curriculum space, this needed to be something that drew on the adult development literature as well as the professional development space. So I know that that's a lot to absorb. I want to tell you that none of these students had any idea that they would do something like this to begin with. And if I had presented something like this to them, they would have said, no, I couldn't ever. This student, for example, that did this, she came in thinking she was going to be working with English language learners, but various things made it appropriate for her to shift and change. Ultimately, what made this possible is the flexibility of the program that allows for dossiers and allows both faculty and students to think more broadly, more courageously about what it means to effectively draw on both research and your practice-based knowledge, to effectively draw on those things and develop materials that are responsive to those different sources of expertise and appropriate for the audience for whom you hope to instill change or introduce new knowledge. Thanks. Actually, I think probably I'm supposed to go over that other previous slide ever so quickly. Just want to say we've had a number of questions around masters or not masters. So just to say, masters in education versus something else. So I want to say that the dossiers reflect all kinds of different spaces, and the thing about education is it is a field, which doesn't really mean anything to you, but the point is it's not just a discipline, right? It is not biology. It is not just history. It is not anthropology. It is not sociology. It's not psychology, but it can be all of those things in different spaces. Linguistics plays a role. There's a lot that's there. So you can see from this some different approaches from a broad space that might give you a flavor of the different type of content area that you could also go into. Thanks.
Try to turn the video back on. I know I've frozen twice. So in terms of support structures, we do have an online orientation that takes place prior to your first semester here. So that takes place in the summer. We have this annual face-to-face orientation residency that is completely student-led. So we have a student advisory committee that puts this together with the support of our faculty and staff, but it is really student-led. And with that, it's also a great time for students, not only the new cohort to come in, but all of our other cohorts like to return for this residency to meet up. And at the last one we had in the summer, they were talking about their proposals and some of their projects. So having some more deep face time with the faculty and their other classmates was really useful. We also have doctoral dossier faculty serve as your mentors. So it's a little different from other universities where you might be doing a traditional dissertation where you have one dissertation chair, and then you have to hunt and find other people to serve on your committee. So here you are given this person, this mentor, this doctoral dissertation mentor during your first fall. We call it the DDR1 course. And so that faculty kind of mentors you throughout that program. And they work with a very small group of students in their DDR coursework. It also gives you an opportunity to really network and get a close knit bond with other students in your cohort who are in your DDR course. And so ideally they have that same mentor throughout the years. And you also will be working with other faculty throughout the process. But we have cohort leads, which is for each of our different cohorts, we have a faculty member that serves as sort of your guidepost. They meet monthly. They offer monthly meetings for you to come in and ask some questions, see how things are going, to really help improve that communication, because we understand that that can be difficult in a fully online program. Sometimes you may have a question that you need to ask, and you have a hard time finding where to go for that. So this is another way that we can help to improve that communication by having these cohort leads serve as that liaison. We also have a person, Winnie Chavez, who is our student success advisor. She's you can kind of almost think of her as sort of a counselor or another type of advisor. So she works with our students that may be on leaves of absence, or that may start to fall behind in their work, and helps to set you up with a plan for success and help you give you some support and structure that you need to move forward in your program. We also have writing clinics. So we just had a presentation today from our writing clinic lead. They do some amazing work there, holding webinars and meetings at different time zones. So those who are in Europe or Asia and students that are in the States can meet to get help with APA format, or learning how to select and locate research for instance, for literature reviews, giving some support for that writing process. So they have a lot of different layers and different types of support that they provide in our writing clinic. Let's see, we also have a new thing that we have is a statistics clinic also, which is going to be run by our PhD students. And then there are various library webinars all throughout the year. And if we note from our cohort leads, if they notice that some of the same questions are coming up from our students, or that that they find that they need some additional support in a certain area or skill, we have all these different resources that we can reach out to provide additional webinars that really key on those needs. There are also a lot of online resources in our LMS, our learning management system. The one that we use here is Canvas. And then we also have Teams sites that a lot of our cohorts use to also communicate. and to share files and resources there. So there's a lot of different avenues for communication as a support structure. Next slide. And so then along with this mandatory online orientation. So this is different from that residency I just mentioned, which I'll talk about in just a minute. I think that's the next slide. But we also have a mandatory online orientation because, again, even if you have been working in schools or you've been in other programs that have been online, if it's a different learning management system or even Canvas, it might differ from school to school. So we want to make sure that you're set up for success, right from the start, right from the first day of class. So there is an orientation module. There's some modules that are online that you will complete before you begin your courses in the fall. And within that, there are modules on using the different technology tools. For instance, one thing that we use in a lot of our courses is VoiceThread. So they'll kind of walk you through how to use VoiceThread, Qualtrics for surveys that you might be using in some of your classes. We also have a social justice training module. And then another one on systems thinking and the nature of research to really get you to kind of think hard about what is a problem of practice and thinking about these issues and problems before you get into this DDR course where you're going to really start exploring that in more depth. There is a collaborative institutional training initiative. And so this, now I'll admit I'm not as familiar with this one.
I see that Carrie has frozen and I was in the middle of answering a question, so I don't know which
Then
part.
you would.
Oh, good, she's back.
Did I freeze? Sorry.
You
Turn off
did.
my camera. I'll just turn it off. Sorry about that. So what I was saying was there is an IRB, Institutional Review Board approval training for those that do decide to conduct a type of dossier project that requires collection of empirical data. Then again, there's the in-person orientation residency. And don't worry, if you can't attend, we do record it. We do our best to record as much of that as possible, so you can watch that later, but we really strongly encourage you to attend that in person to kind of develop those bonds and start networking and just get a really good overview of the entire program from the start. So that is usually held around the third week in July. It varies a little bit, but it's usually held around then for about 2 days. I think it's 2 days, right, Julia? Okay. And then we have, along with that online tutorial, there is an EdD course tour at the end. So it really walks you through. Most of our courses are very similar in the way that they are set up so that it makes it easier for you when you're taking these courses. You kind of get used to the same, to the format. I think, okay, next slide. I don't know if I froze again. Next slide, please. Oh, and then I'll hand it back over. And I'm going to try to type some answers to some of the questions as you're talking also. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much for the overview of the program, the examples on the dossiers. That is really amazing information and lots of questions I typically get from students. So moving and changing gears here, we're going to talk a little bit about the admissions application requirements and the admissions timeline. So to submit an application, you need to fill out the online application form. Typically, there is an $80 application fee, but we have waived that for all fall 2025 applications. You'll need to submit your resume or CV. And then that problem of practice is your essay. It should be 750 words or less. There are prompts within the application that tell you how to answer that problem of practice as well as on our website. So do review those and answer your problem of practice thoughtfully, but know that it is going to change and shift in the program. So, write what you are, thinking that your problem of practice will be, but know that you're not married to it. You'll need 2 letters of recommendation, one of them from an academic source and one from a professional source. If you've graduated from your master's degree quite a long time ago and maybe have lost connections with those professors, you may substitute an additional professional reference. The GRE test is not required, but encouraged for applicants to submit. You'll need to submit all of your official transcripts from every post-secondary institution that you have attended, including all of your undergraduate and master's, postmaster's coursework. And then in addition, once you have submitted your application and gotten all of those materials to us, There may be a virtual interview required. Selected candidates will receive that information after they have a completed application.
You accidentally muted yourself.
Thank you. So in addition to those application requirements, our international students do need to submit some additional requirements. One of them is a passing IELTS or TOEFL test score, and a course-by-course evaluation of any degrees that were earned outside of the United States or Canada. For additional information on passing test scores, for approved credential evaluation agencies, or how to qualify for an English proficiency waiver, I would encourage you to visit our website for international student requirements at education.jhu.edu/international. So going over the admissions timeline, the application is open now. Students can submit their applications at any time between now and January 15th, 2025. That is the deadline to submit your application and submit all of the supporting application documents. If you have a completed application before November through our deadline, from November through February, select applicants may start to receive their invitation for the virtual interview. That will be sent to you via email, so be checking your email once you complete your application. February to mid-March is the final application decision and review process, and then all admissions decisions are released in mid-March, as well as scholarship notifications. We do our very best to release those on the same day, but they are always released within 2 weeks after receiving your decision. We want our students to have plenty of time to be able to make their admission decision or their decision on whether or not to attend, and have all of their scholarship and financial information in order to make that decision. The tuition for the EdD program is $2,100 per credit. The program is typically 54 credits to complete, at least 48 at minimum. The registration and enrollment fees include a $500 enrollment deposit. That's a one-time deposit that is applied to your tuition to secure your spot in the program. And then there's this $175 registration fee each semester. As I mentioned earlier, the application fee for fall of 2025 is waived, so you don't have to pay that $80 application fee. We are very excited to announce that we have a new scholarship in the EdD program. This is the EdD Initiative Scholarship. Fall of 2024 was the first cohort to receive this scholarship. It does supply multiple year funding to our EdD students. So the funding is for 3 years, and about 65% of our admitted students in fall of 24 received this scholarship. In order to be considered for this scholarship, you'll need to submit a completed admissions application and complete your FAFSA, or your free application for federal student aid. It is a mixture of merit and need-based. There's not a separate application. All students who are applying to the program with a complete application are automatically considered. In addition to the EdD Initiative Scholarship, we do have an endowed scholarship here at SOE. Those are very limited, but they offer partial and need-based funding for fall and spring semesters. This is a scholarship you do have to apply for. For our incoming EdD students, the scholarship deadline is March 15th to apply. A FAFSA is absolutely necessary, so you would need to submit both the application and the FAFSA in order to be considered for the endowed scholarship. Additionally, I want to encourage you to look for external sources of financial aid, especially for the EdD program. Here I just listed 2, but we do have additional resources on our scholarship webpage on our website. So do take a look there. All of the external scholarships are listed by their deadlines, and there's a scholarship that has a deadline every single month. So there's a lot of different resources that we have at your fingertips, but you do have to do a little bit of due diligence and research to find those external scholarship options. Note that about 82% of our students at SOE borrow graduate loans through federal financial aid if they are domestic students. And we encourage every single applicant to complete their FAFSA at the same time as their admissions application. I like to tell EdD students, once they have that admissions application complete, the very next step should be completing your FAFSA while you're waiting for an admission decision from us. So at this time, we are going to answer some of your questions that we haven't yet got to answer. Know that this was for about 13 more minutes, so we'll do our very best to answer as many of the questions as we can. However, if we do not get to your question, we do have ways to contact us after this webinar. Feel free always to reach out to me. You can do that at soeapply@jhu.edu. You can also reach out to the program. Raven Menervino is the Senior Academic Program Administrator. You can reach her at soe.edd@jhu.edu.
One question that I saw come up quite frequently was how many, like, is this full-time or part-time, and how many credits are you expected to take each semester? So I'll just speak to that quickly. So I would say, I don't think I've had a student yet who is not working full-time. So the majority of our students are, working in schools or in military or medical or higher ed. And so it is, in that sense, it's kind of considered a part-time, but we expect students to take 6 credits in the fall and in the spring. So they're taking at least 2 classes in the fall and in the spring for this program. And if they are on the 4-year track, they will also have some additional courses for their specialization or their electives that they would take during one of the summers. Moving forward, if we offer a 3-year track, that will mostly work out by also having courses in the summer to get to that to complete this all in 3 years.
Okay, I do see quite a bit of admissions questions. So in regards to letters of recommendation, we do ask that students have one academic source or reference and another professional reference. However, if you've been out of your master's degree for a long time, you can substitute a additional professional reference. I'm not sure about 2 academic references. I've never had a student ask that question, so I don't know if either Carrie or Juliana know the answer to that question. But typically I see a substitution for the academic reference, not for the professional reference. Ideally, our program is for students who are working full-time and in a professional field where they can draw on for their problem or practice.
Somebody also was asking about the GRE. So we no longer require the GRE. However, if you took it, or maybe you had to take it for another application and you did extremely well, and you think that it would be helpful to include that, you can submit that. We are looking at students on a holistic basis.
As far as different scholarships, I see a lot of questions in regards to scholarships for international students, as well as scholarships notifications. So yes, our students do receive their scholarship notification for both the EdD Initiative Scholarship and the Endowed Scholarship in March. So you will know prior to the deadline to accept your offer of admission on whether or not you have qualified or received either of those scholarships. For our international students, you are not eligible to complete the FAFSA. Only domestic students are eligible to do that. For the financial need for the EIS scholarship, there is a CSS profile that you can fill out. I can send you more information about that after the webinar, but that scholarship is open for our international student population. And yes, the GRE is optional, as Carrie just spoke to.
I see a lot of questions about kind of looking at that 36 credits required in the master's and what counts beyond that. So if you are close to the 36, but you don't have that, but you actually graduated and you have a diploma that says master's degree, that would need to be reviewed, I believe, because one thing we did find is that some universities count their credits a little differently than others. And so what might be equivalent to our 3-credit course might be called a 1-credit course, particularly at some Ivy League schools. So we will look and see if there's an equivalency issue. Otherwise, the general rule is that you need to come in with a completed master's degree, and that if it is just below that 36, that you just need to make sure that you complete courses either at Hopkins or someplace else that are in an accredited program before graduation. And then there are a couple questions about post-master certificates or graduate certificates counting towards the 6 credits for the EdD. So if you already have a master's degree and then you took additional courses and you're hoping that some of those might count for that 6 credit, we have to look very carefully at that, because some programs have what's called a graduate certificate, but it's not really designated as a postgraduate or a postmaster's. It would have to be a postmaster's in that sense, or a second master's degree, or for instance, an educational specialist degree to count those for the additional 6 credits. I see a couple questions about acceptance rate. I was just looking at our data from the current year. We had a 40% acceptance rate this past year. So we are expecting to have more students applying this year. So that rate will always vary a bit from year to year, but that's where we were this past year. And we're looking at hoping to offer admissions to about 100 students is what our target goal is for 2025. So it really depends on how many students apply.
Yes, definitely. A lot of questions about the recording. Yes, the recording will be made available to you after this webinar. It will be emailed to you in about a week or so. As long as you are registered, then you will receive a link to the recording. I don't really see any other questions that we haven't
somebody asked
talked
you to put
about
the slide
generally.
back up regarding the credit cost.
Oh, the credit cost per program is $2,100 per credit.
They requested to have the slide back up again.
Oh, they want the slide back up. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And just quickly, somebody's asking about connecting with other students or alumni. We actually have a webinar planned next month. I don't know if you have that date, but
yes.
We'll tell them that. But we will have a panel of students who will be able to share their experiences, and that will be a really informative, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You'll get to hear from current students in the program. That webinar is scheduled for October 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Do you know the answer to the question about Abdul's question regarding having 2 master's degree from the UK, one from Oxford in comparative and international education, but there is not a bachelor's degree? Would that still qualify for an applicant who's an education practitioner?
So it would depend on the number of credits. We require an undergraduate degree of 120 credits typically, or the US equivalency to that. So in that case, I would suggest you sending me an email so I can, talk to you more specifically about that case. Yeah.
So there's been a couple questions in regards to intersections with medicine. And I also noticed that there's some folks with raised hands. I don't know if we're able to answer those types of questions. For the medical related spaces, particularly becoming a program director of a medical fellowship, I would reach out to potential employers in that space and ask them if you can talk with other program directors. I'm assuming that's what PD means, and try to get a sense of what their qualifications and doctoral experiences might have been. I don't know if there is a specific set of requirements related to medical fellowship, so I can't answer in that space. In regards to other more general questions in terms of the intersection with health education, me personally, I have had 4 different students who have worked at the intersection of health education in some way, either within the field as a instructor, providing health education around undergraduate pre-med, speech language pathology, or who is a medical practitioner and working on a problem of practice in regards to that practice. I don't know that there's any value in applying to FAFSA earlier or later. My understanding is that the timeline isn't relevant.
The timeline is not relevant. However, the Department of Education is anticipating that there are going to be delays again this year with FAFSA processing due to the changes that happened last year. So because of that, I would encourage you to do it sooner rather than later so that you're not affected by any delays.
And then that second question, Joni, if I'm getting your name right, there isn't a separate period typically when you're working on your dossier. You're working on the dossier concurrent to your courses, and some of the courses are specifically designed to have you be focusing on your dossier. So there are situations where students in the past do what is called I don't even remember quite what the name. I think it's called like a non-residency semester, but since you guys aren't residents, right, that's not, that's just a carryover name from other types of programs. And in that situation, you are paying reduced tuition, so not a full tuition credit, because you're completing elements of the dossier instead of doing coursework. There's questions about sort of maximum amount of scholarship. I'm not sure if that's something that we have the information to provide.
No, we don't have a maximum amount of scholarship that we award our students. For the EIS scholarship, those amounts do change from year to year. Because of that, I'm not able to predict how much students will receive this year. So it's a big changing number, but for the endowed scholarship, typically it's $3,000 to $6,000 a year. Some students qualify for both of those scholarships. Some students only qualify for one. So it's really dependent on many financial and merit factors. I did see some questions about merit-based scholarships. The EIS scholarship is based on merit and need. We don't have any scholarships available specifically for the EdD program that are only merit-based. So it is 5. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up our webinar. Let me get to the contact information slide again, just so you have that information. Again, you can feel free to reach out to me at soe-apply@jhu.edu. You can reach Raven Minervino at soe.edd@jhu.edu for any additional questions that you have. You'll get the recording for this webinar in about a week or so, sent to you via email. And please join us again on October 23rd at 7 p.m. to hear from current students in the program and get their perspective of what it's like to be an EdD student. I just want to thank you so much for taking time to be with us here today. Thank you to the faculty for your expertise in answering questions and your point of view for the program as well.